We are on another adventure, a farm tour for you guys. Today we are looking for some sheep thrills at a local sheep farm. This sheep farm does everything, but mostly what they specialize in, sheep wool and wool products, which I don't know anything about.
I don't really know much about them either.
So we're gonna go meet the Schweiders, who run and operate the Pine Farm, and get a tour.
And for all the FFA kids, Al runs the FFA Fall Fair, so you may or may not have seen him bustling about the barns at fair.
These people are such great advocates for youth in agriculture. Al has been helping FFA at the fall and spring fair since I don't even know when, since we were in high school.
He was there when we were in high school.
We first met him as high school students showing our animals at this fair. So he's one of our favorite people in the world, and we love his whole family. So we're really excited to go check out their farm.
It's going to be epic.
We'll let you know when we get there. Perfect.
And this has all been run through what's called a roving machine, which we can go downstairs and see that if you want to. And we do different blends, and then hand spinners buy this at different craft fairs. And so we've got these are the spring colors over here, and there's the fall colors over there.
And this is roving. It's a long strip. Or you'll see that our roving machine produces wool in a long strip.
Makes it easy for the spinners.
And there's blends of different colors. This looks like it has mohair in it.
It's got mohair in it. Yep.
And mohair is
There we go. We've got a whole bunch of them. And all that's mohair. That's all dyed mohair. Then people can make their own blends or whatever they want to use it for. Out.
Each color blend has a number on it, and that one's 52. And so there's a recipe. We'll show you downstairs how to make this blend. This is a blend of 3 or 4 different colors.
And we also do bats. Actually, Dawn Lance does bats. I send her the wool. Like if you were a felter and you wanted to do, as a background or felting or something large, you could use this for it.
And this would come from one of our colored sheep.
Yeah, I didn't dye it.
Without being dyed.
oh, so that was natural color.
It's natural. Yeah.
And some people buy it washed, some people buy it raw, but we try to encourage people to use washed because it's a big job washing it and getting it clean enough.
Plus it looks gross.
It looks gross, yeah.
Not washed.
And you've seen Amy's.
No, I was just looking at those. I've never seen those before. That is so cute.
Our granddaughter does those in the business. Has for years. My set's the gray set. It matches my hair.
Yes, granddaughter started making these things and selling them for $20 a piece.
I think she's gone up now.
Just in case you guys want to order.
Right.
Those are so cute.
Yeah, she's expanded. She does dog ears and stuff too. So.
That's so funny.
One of the things that I like, and I think a lot of your customers like, is this is called a casserole dye. where you mix several colors in the dye pot and just don't stir it very much, so you get different colors out of the same same pot.
And then another product, of course, this is total commitment, as Al used to say. This is an Angora goat, total commitment. This is a sheep. Because we do sell market lambs, and if you can get the hide and then have them tanned, it's another product.
What's that? Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're a lot thicker than New Zealand.
Yeah.
The New Zealand ones are pretty flimsy compared to the U.S. ones. Well, most of these are from like at least yearlings. And they usually come in, the whites are all sold out, but they usually come in different colors. The goats just come in one. And to me, this is a lot more practical to sit on than a goat skin. But these are pretty. So. Then we sell like little packages for needle felting. This is needle felted stuff. The wolf and the little mice. And a lot of people have been doing this. It's just a single little needle. And you can do all this with one little needle. And it's not messy, because felting used to be just wet felting, and that was kind of wet and messy. And these, of course, this is the leftover stuff from the carding machine. And we put it, wrap it up and put it in a nylon stocking, tie a knot in it, put a whole bunch more and get about a dozen done, and then throw them in the washing machine with a pair of jeans and put them in the dryer, and then you've got dryer balls. And it's pretty much, the ones we do are leftover stuff. Our granddaughter does them and puts little bells in the middle for kitties. That takes a little more time and effort and embellishment, and yeah. So this is pretty much everything that's in the shop. We do sell some yarns and not much finished product, because by the time value added, it's your hours. No. So Amy usually does these as an example of what you can do. So. Wash it, put it through dry it, put it through the picker, and then it comes out like this. And then we put it in through the rolling machine. And I would be doing bright colors, except that Amy had just cleaned the machine, and we start out with the light colors first. So we'll start with white, and then we'll go to whatever a light blend is, and then finally get back to the darker blends. And there's all the colors up there that we use. Should be coming out the other end. Hopefully. Yeah. It isn't. I don't have to do that.
My addition to this machine is simply my experience from Nora. Static electricity is required. So you know when you do things, when you use static. This blower is an anti-static blower. They use it mostly for doing electronics, building where people wear wrist straps and keep from blowing out little microcircuits. So that's usually put on a workstation to keep the static electricity minimized. So it works great here because
it used to be a two-man project.
Right.
One of us always had to stay at the other end to keep it from,
it wants to stick to the, to come out and stick to
go around something.
Stick to the middle parts. Before we started using this, we'd have to put in a fabric softener in the garbage can and let it sit overnight, and then use a humidifier in here, kind of hot and humid, to keep the static down. But this little...
Oh, that little thing has just been a lifesaver. Yeah.
You ought to explain why you use a picker and how it works.
Why I use a picker?
Why use a picker?
Because the fleeces are all. I have one. Oh, I got one here. Yeah. They're all. After you wash them, they're all just kind of matted up. So then you run them through the picker, and it pulls it. Does this to it?
Here, let's.
Do you want some?
Do you want to get a close up of that?
Put the bag on. Don't do my favorite trick, which is forget to put the bag on. And yeah, anybody that's allergic to wool should never come to this room because it's just wool. I think it just had white in it before anyway,
Yeah.
so it's probably good.
What's that like in here? Why we keep this? Why we have this conveyor?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, wait till it stops.
See that? You don't want to get your hand in there.
Can ruin your day.
So,
We got this, both these pieces of equipment we got used. This one we got from
here it is.
Trout Lake. Looks so much better, doesn't it?
Yes.
It takes away, it kind of blends it all together because like this, it has some yellowing. By the time you pick it, it comes out looks much better. This is a better fleece over here though.
The carder won't accept that kind of stuff. It
Yeah.
just it balls it up. And
Yeah, you have to have it picked.
show me a recipe book.
My recipe book. This is for our blends. This is where Amy and I work together. She usually uses this over here, and I'm over here carding. Each one has a name. Because when you sit and do this for a while, you got to do something with the brain, because otherwise it's just kind of monkey work. Like we named this after a friend that liked purple and turquoise, and so. And each one has a name.
Deep Ocean.
Ocean. And this one, Awesomeness. This was done by a little teenager, which we're kind of going, yeah, really. Amy was trying to entertain her, and so let's go down and do something in the wool room. So they did this blend. You can't believe what a seller this is. It really sells. It's like, okay. Sandpoint, Mario Party. Some of these we don't do anymore. But this way we have samples of what the color is, what the fleece is, like a brown fleece here. And this is chartreuse, mohair, and even here it has the dye instructions. So we've got 50, 60, probably 60 different blends we've done. Sometimes we do, this was a one for a friend. She said, I need, here's the dried Indian corn, make me roving like it. Okay. And then she wanted carrots too. I don't know whether we've got carrots here. Yeah, here's squash. So yeah, we have. But it's challenging when they send you, something like a piece of corn and say, match this. Some of these, like this one's really popular. These two are really popular. A lot of the ones with blues, because most spinners are little old ladies and they like blues and purples and so. Anyway, that's our recipe book.
So you use this recipe book and customers' expectations and make individual colors that are complete
Yeah.
complete different colors, and then mix them according to these
Yeah. I
blends.
just got a special order from a spinner friend that said, make me moss. Let's see, it was either moss or slash, what was it? Some other grayish green. So I took a chance, I did it, and it came out. She liked it. At least she paid me for it. So it's good. These are customers that would have been like at Spring Fair that are now, hey, can I get some stuff? Because I didn't get it at Spring Fair. I ordered from Massachusetts.
So these are all powdered dyes. You have 2 suppliers.
One supplier.
One,
Yep, ProChem in Massachusetts.
ProChem
Yep. Come on, shoe.
in Massachusetts, right?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So you made an order one time, and she was the cashier at the other end of Massachusetts said, "Well, where do you live so we can determine the cost of shipping?" And you said,
Washington State. Washington State. She says, "Where's that?" Okay. Now, preface that we had just taken a load of sheep to the national show in Massachusetts, Springfield, Massachusetts. We had driven 4.5 days. We knew exactly where Massachusetts was, but she didn't have a clue where Washington was.
one of the things you may work with your students on is deworming and worming. Have you showed them how to do it
Sometimes.
Yeah.
with a microscope and one
The
of these?
fecal samples?
With these?
I haven't for a few years, no. My kids don't know about fecal samples.
This is what we use. Little fecalizers.
Used the coffee can. Used to put a little sample in.
You get your sample in here, and then you put it in your pocket. When you come up from the barn, you pour in your flotation. You guys make your flotation solution. Put a cover slip on and
Look for...
look for worm eggs and coccidia.
I don't have to take it to the vet. This
Handy.
is what I used to do. I used to use cute little coffee cans, and I used to take it into my vet in these cute little coffee cans. I did label on the top.
So we're checking. We'll be checking fecal samples on various animals, but almost weekly.
Oh yeah,
or more
especially
often.
right now because with the grass so wet, their stools are just really, ugh, looks like cows.
And this time of year, we're going to be looking for coccidia in our goat kids. Lynn's washing facility.
Yeah, got myself just a few minutes ago.
So explain it.
Oh, okay. Fill the tub and put in a full cup of the Dawn, the 6-gallon bucket of Dawn, which Al was going to the business center one time, and I said, "Well, give me the big size Dawn," which was they had a special on the gallon. He came home with that, and I'm just going, "Really?" And ever since then, I've decided, hey, we're going with the big because I use that much Dawn.
Yeah.
Because a cup of Dawn, and I'll put 2 soaps for every fleece that I do. So that's 2 full cups of Dawn.
You use these?
Yeah, I've been putting them in. Amy does this, and I've decided it's pretty good. You divide a fleece. A mohair fleece would be half a fleece in each bag.
Those don't hold.
You realize how many geese we've got in the pasture right now? Look at that. Oh my goodness.
But we used to have more.
I don't know. What's the deal? At least we have lots of grass right now.
So you go
Anyway, I wash it,
wash it twice.
soap it twice,
Soap it
rinse
twice.
it, put it in the washing machine, but I just spin it out. Just spin out the dirty wool, and then reload with clean water, and do that at least 4 times until it finally all the water in the tub is running clean, and then I'll either dye it or just put it out to dry. And we use in the summertime we use our sunroom for drying. We have a big rack that we put all the fleece on in the sunroom. Right now, the only thing I've got is an old style
Clothes rack.
clothes rack. Yeah, that I'm doing the mohair. I just have little trays that I put because the mohair is so much smaller than the fleece.
And this, I added a filter on the pump so that it don't get wool into the pump and freeze it up. So
And we water all my plants with the leftover
Oh yeah,
water.
pour the water out into the plants.
Sustainability.
Yes, that's what we have left of our yearlings. We have two bucks left in these does.
You can come say hi.
I'll eat your phone. That's one of the ones that had rhododendron poisoning. You kind of tell why.
Nope.
They're girls. What can I say? Here's the kids. What's left of them. The rest of them gone out with mom.
Hi, babies.
There's the one you treated this morning, dear.
Yep.
You need to get a fecal sample of that. If we're doing it all backwards, I'll go to the war room, okay, dear?
Yep.
My border collie builds a trench.
Border collie's neurotic.
I guess I can roll him out. These are the two boys we just sheared a couple days ago. So customer wants a fleece, I bring her in here and she picks out what she wants, and then I usually skirt it for her. Because when we're shearing, you don't have time to do the skirting. This is a ram fleece, which is probably going to be... I don't even marked who was who. They're just busy hanging on. You can tell it's a ram fleece. He smells rammy. Anyway, when a spinner buys a fleece, she wants to have it skirted. So the sweat locks under the armpits, you take off. The head wool, of course the belly goes first. I usually get the belly off when we're shearing.
This is not a dirty fleece. This is a gray fleece.
It's kind of a dirty fleece.
It looks, but it is kind of good.
Yeah, he was a bit of a.
But this is his natural color. He wasn't.
He's a natural colored, yes, ram. Yes. In fact,
So this is. Oh, you can feel the lanolin.
You can feel the lanolin. It's
I
definitely
think
there.
He's
Isn't it?
the father of all
Moisturizer.
Which one is this?
I think this is 1525. I don't think this is 1700. I think this is out there. 1700 became the sire of most of our lambs this year. We had 2 white lambs.
That's a real management goof.
Had a marking harness on him during fair season. Thought that the white guy was doing his job. Figured everything was taken care of. So put the black guy in as cleanup ram. He cleaned up all right. Wow. But you know, the year you're selling them for feeder lambs, it doesn't matter. So nobody cares. And most of my, I think all of the ram orders I've got for ram lambs for breeding are for black ones. I was like, yes, because that's all I've got. So anyway, then we'll weigh it out here, and the spinner will take it home and wash it, and she has her fleece. Now, one thing in our fall wool sale that we do, Al will shear. I'll have a whole pen full of sheep, and the spinner can pick out the fleece she wants on the sheep, and Al will shear it for him. And so then they get to do a video of the whole thing, and they, it's kind of a cool way to get the whole 9 yards, the whole experience in. And we are still planning on having our full wool sale this year, because I figure we can do everything outdoors. At least we will try. Please, no rain. Anyway, there's the mohair is all back there, and then this is all wool.
So these kids are how old?
20 minutes.
2.5 months. When are you gonna wean? First of
Probably next month.
Sometime.
June, 1st of July.
June.
This is a pack of trouble, doesn't it?
So
Wow.
these sheep out here
Okay.
are the ewes that we've weaned. There's about 40 of them out there that are older ewes. And then the yearlings ewes are on the other side of that on the
Beyond
other side
the
of that little
geese?
hill,
Yeah,
beyond
beyond
the
the
geese. And the lambs are still in the barn. We feed the lambs grain and hay in the morning, let them out the day, and then put them in at night for more grain and hay to have them grow up as fast as possible to get to market quicker.
So these are our lambing hens, which here's some lambs. They're really, really large for lambing hens.
The lighting's pretty bad, huh?
Well, black sheep.
For black sheep.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's the one I can't see. She's on deck for shearing, but I think for demo you ought to do 39. Yeah. We said that one for Amy, because that's Sam's view.
Okay.
He's got that same kind of same look on. Okay, guys. This is what's left of them. We sold quite a few feeder lambs already this year.
We had some problems with, if you notice, this white one with his leg.
Mm-hmm.
We think there was about 3 lambs that have this defect. We think it was due, the vet thinks it's due to infection at docking. We had about 4, 5, 6 that had some kind of problems, and most of them have outgrown it. They were on antibiotic for several days, and they recovered. For example, number 26, I don't know where he is now, but 26 was flat out, I thought he was dead.
This guy's the worst.
Yeah.
We thought seriously not.
But he's walking, but he wasn't walking before.
Yeah. But he's actually playing. The other day I saw him playing on the manure pile with the rest of them.
So they're gradually getting, there's 2 or 3 that have a problem with their hind ends. They're gradually getting better, but I'm sure we'll butcher him and not have
He'll taste
4 legs, he'll have 3 legs.
that. We want to save the joint to send to the vet, or
Yeah.
send to the waddle to see what we got. I'll go ahead and put them out.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is our first ewe lamb. That's it. And we thought, oh, we're getting started with white. And then every white ewe kept having black babies. Wow.
And then out there we have 3 ewes that bred really, really late to one of our other white rams. And we did get another ewe lamb.
Uh-huh.
3 or 4 weeks old. So, based on our management problem, we won't have a white flock this year. Or next year.
Next year?
Well, maybe next year, but we usually like to bring 7 animals, a yearling and 2, the full. But come in here to our nursery for 3 days or so, and then dock them and bring them out here with their mothers until we get a bunch. And then when we get enough that they need to have creep, we move this panel from here. It's usually across the creep bars, and we let the mothers put the mothers out here, and the babies have this as their creep.
What's a creep?
That's where they get the extra feed. So the mothers would eat it all, and they wouldn't get.
It's like a kids club, no grown-ups allowed.
Yeah, no gas. Otherwise, the mothers would clean it out. This way, the lambs get free choice in here. This is really Albuilt a double feeder, which is really nice, and it's working well now because the stems that the lambs don't eat, I put on this side, and then those 5 ewes and their 5 babies come in here and they eat it. And then I opened up the creep so that if those babies feel so inclined to go eat the grain that's over there, they can. I haven't seen that any have done it, but they could. We used to say the chickens like this.
These square feeders we came up with as an idea on how to feed. And we find that they're the best for goats because they don't get this much fleece in their much hay in their fleeces
Oh, it's great for sheep too.
and sheep too.
Yeah. So when this guy ends up in our front yard, I called her and said, "Hey, Kendall, we've got your peacock over here." And she said, "No, you don't. My peacock's right here." I'm going, "Oh, okay." So then this is so there's two. So one of them decided to stay with us, and they visit back and forth. They're both males. Where they came from, we have no idea. They just show up. And in fact, last night he was, yeah, come on, we know you can fly.
You can't figure out that he can
We
get it.
know you can fly. They're awfully pretty, and they're really not any problem. Except he keeps throwing his tail up for the hens. And the hens kind of go, yeah, whatever. Not into peacocks. Oh, he must have a hole. Now, how did he get through?
He jumped over.
Oh,
When at feeding time, he'll show up, and I'll be and all of a sudden he's behind me.
yeah, he shows up silently. It's really, the chickens make a lot of noise. He makes absolutely no noise.
Well, he does.
He does. He's up high, and he can call for the girlfriend that's not coming.
He's ready for a snack.
We saved all of his feathers from last year, and I keep thinking each year we're going to have this, mountain of feathers. But they really are beautiful. And other than messing the old Chevy truck up a little bit because he likes to hang out there, he doesn't do much harm.
The peacocks like to look at themselves in the chrome bumper. Aren't I pretty?
Record. I'll write down the dam's name or number, ear tag number, sex of the female, sex of the baby that's born, the date born, the birth weight, ear tag number, color, and then the sire. And then in this column, it's time of delivery, time and delivery. So usually I would write NA, which means no assist, which is what I want on every one of them. Instead, it looks like on these little guys, this ram produced really easy to deliver lambs. Oh, there he is on top of the manure pile. He does get around. No, so I really didn't have to. I don't know that did I have to help anybody? Maybe
I don't think
one
you
or
did.
two. I don't think I had it. It was wonderful. For years of pulling lambs, so yeah. Then we'll record their weaning weights here too. And, so it gives us the number of lambs that we've had, the number of ewes that have lambs, the sires of them, and then any little information sticking on the edges.
That's 40 years.
Yeah, that's 40 years.
40 years
lamb.
of lamb records.
And you figure 40 years times, we used to get over 100 lambs, so that's a lot of lambs. Girls.
So every so often we'll want to either worm or we want to do something to the animals. We'll bring in all the ewes and bring them around this side. And this is the door, incoming door to our foot bath. We use zinc sulfate and water and detergent. And then once they've gone through the foot bath, we'll open the door, and then we can either cut them into here or here, or open this door and put them in here, or go outside. So that's our cutting, and we worm them here. We also trim the hind ends here, bring them in, and I lean over it and use them clip off the hind ends because they're so springtime greens.
It seems worse this year than most years for some reason.
And our hay storage is upstairs.
Oh, upstairs.
So we've got a whole year's worth of hay up there.
Yeah.
But for the lighting, it's best, I'm sure, to see the shearing outside than inside.
Whatever you want.
Sharing my bags somehow. These are the smaller of the gang.
And I tell you, they're so tough to shear. They're so square. To get them down on the ground is just tough. Of course, after you shear them, they don't recognize each other, so they fight.
Do they really?
Oh, yeah. That's why you have to put them in a small
So,
pen. Oh, yeah.
The next one we share, we'll put in with these two, or probably two. We'll do two and put them in there. And we keep the area nice and small, so they can't take a run at each other. And usually after a few hours, they come to agreement who's
Work
boss.
out their
It took
differences.
about 2 days before they finally got nice.
Then we'll put them out by themselves. This is the guy that sired all the black lambs.
This one right here?
Yeah. Amy said, oh, he is a black lamb. He is so correct. I said, yeah, he is. He knows what to do.
Put lots of babies on the ground.
Yeah, this is the guy that was the dud. That's why we've got late lambs out there.
You're the dud.
We sold this.
We had him seen.
We sold this to a fellow up north, and he didn't produce any lambs, so we took him back, made it good, and had him semen tested, and he was fertile for this year, for last fall. But I don't know what happened. So we're going to try him next year because he's bigger than anybody.
Yeah.
We're going to try him next year Lynn says, as a teaser,
Yeah.
and see if he settles anybody. Very carefully, make sure we change colors on our marking harnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Is your video? Did you talk about marking harnesses in your?
We never have, no.
You want to get some better lighting?
Sure.
That's what you do when you're at the fair. My husband. Then it lies to you.
So the way you use this is you put this on the ram's brisket, right about here, and when with a colored crayon in it, and when he mounts to you and breeds her, he leaves a mark on her tail head. Then you count 141 days, and you should have a lamb. And then after 1 or 2 heat cycles, you change colors for that lamb.
So you know which.
So if he remarks everybody, then he's sterile. If he remarks 2 or 3 or 4, she didn't settle. So you say, okay, they've got a new date on them. Then you change rams with
Another
colors to make sure everybody's not remarked. So that's what we didn't do. If we didn't change colors.
That doesn't have much marker left in it. Here's a complete one.
Yeah. It's so easy to do this compared to doing pregnancy tests for the ultrasound.
Yeah.
So this is the key
Looks
to getting.
handy.
Yeah.
Jesus, I know what this means.
Hold her head.
You want to get more up on the
This is when it trembles, isn't it?
Yeah. This is also the one that's slightly damp.
Normally at this point we trim their feet, but we trimmed her feet yesterday, so she's done. So you got some more lanolin here.
See anything that needs,
Nope,
anything that
she's
needs
done.
trimmed? Just gonna let her go.
She trimmed. Oh,
I know.
let
I
her
gotta
go?
go click, yeah, but except I need the gate closed over there, the green gate.
okay, I'll go close it. Be right back.
Come on, you're gonna go out with your buddies. Grass. Have some grass.
We have second cuts. Does that make any sense to you guys?
Nope.
If you notice,
Spinners hate them.
you can't do much about it, but you got these short pieces, a little piece, and that's caused by my going over an area more than once. So normally, what we do is package this fleece up, and then when we want to skirt it, get all the junk off, we'll put it on that skirting table that's up there by the tractor, and turn it upside down on the skirting table, and these little second cuts tend to fall out, but it's really important so that when you're carding, you're processing your wool, you don't want to have a lot of these little short pieces mixed in, because your customer is not going to like it when they are making yarn out of it and they have to pick out these small pieces. So it's important to, when you're shearing, is to go over it as much as possible just once, and if you do have to take off the next little piece you missed, then cut it and push it aside so that it doesn't end up in the fleece. So Lynn has trained me over the years to make sure I don't produce second cuts.
No.
So this is this would be called a tan fleece,
Oh, pale gray.
pale gray.
Pale gray. I think by the time you got washed, a lot of the brown would probably wash out. 'Cause it's,
And one other thing that's interesting about natural colored fleeces is most of them are not color fast. So you make something that's black and white, and after you've worn it a few times in sunlight, it's going to be
Gray.
gray and white. So, which is one of the reasons we like to use dye, is because they're color fast. But people have used natural colored fleeces back, 20, 30 years ago. Natural colored fleeces were really high priced and really in demand, but now everybody grows them. So any questions about this?
Oh, how do you do it so good?
Yeah, no, it took me like 45 minutes to do one.
he's been doing it for
Well,
40,
I've been
40
doing
years.
it for 40 years or so.
I'm the one that took the class,
I,
and everybody else in the family became shearers. I took the shearing school. It was so traumatic because it was here with using our sheep. I mean, I watched one kid that was learning zip off and the teat on a ewe.
I did that
It's
once in high school.
so I like this flared comb because it's got the teeth are kind of rounded out here, and you tend to pushes the skin down a little bit more, so that you don't cut them on these.
No little nicks.
Definitely.
But cutting is no big deal, and-
Okay, good, because I definitely got some.
But the main thing is make sure your combs and cutters are sharp. Do you sharpen?
I haven't sharpened them yet, but I think I need to send them in for sharpening.
I sharpen.
Oh, do you really?
Oh
You
yeah.
didn't see them? Oh, the round table in the breezeway.
Do you really?
That's where they drop them off. And we never even see the people. They just drop them off with their name or a business card or something. They drop them off. Al sharpens them. They go back on the table. Al calls them. They come and pick them up. We never see them. I haven't seen any of them. We've had like, what, 5?
Mhm.
I haven't seen one of them come. They just kind of come. Well,
So I don't
always
think
down
I've-
here.
Ever sharpened mine.
Sharpening is really, really important, but it's kind of easy. I'll show you the disc when you get to the house, but it looks like a flat disc, a big around, with an inch arbor in it, right, a hole. But it's not flat. It's conical. Okay. Now in your math courses, you remember conic sections. Well,
Vaguely.
so
Trying to forget math class.
They're traumatic for me. Like your shearing class math was traumatic for me. So.
well.
Yes.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
this disc is not flat. It's like a ice cream cone that's been opened up. So it's not round, really even tight, but it's really
flared almost.
It's got a 1/2 degree taper to it, 1/2 degree. And so what you do when it's spinning like this, if you imagine when you put the comb and cutter on it, either this way or this way, it's somewhat tapered this way, right? Because it's not flat. So it puts a slight dish to the comb and a slight dish to the cutter. So it's like this. So you can't see it. I'll show you the disc, but you can see it on the disc. But you can't see it on the combs and cutters. But what happens is your comb and cutter are like this. Then when they're done, if you do them the same way on the disc, the same orientation. And so what you do is when you crank down on this, you're getting most of your pressure at the tips here and back here, and not much in the middle. And that's what you want. You want to have all your cutting pressure right here at the tips. So both the comb is somewhat hollow ground this way, and the cutter is hollow ground that way. And you push it down, and and you can tell how you're doing by the wear pattern on your comb, and you'll see that it wears preferentially. I can't see it with this one yet, but after you've used it a little bit, maybe 10 sheep or so, you'll see that that on the edges of the comb, this edge, you'll see it be a little shinier than in the middle of the comb, the tooth. So that tells you, and you can tell right away if it's cutting like butter, they're sharp. If it's not cutting like butter, then you're
Ours don't cut like butter, do they?
Hey, you.
He just likes to be in the background every few minutes. Remind everybody it's not just sheep and goats.
So let me get some food for him. So I put the disc on this arbor, and it spins. And the way you hold the comb, this is a spring-loaded. That holds it. And as it's spinning, you just hold it against here and back and forth a little bit until you see everything is perfectly uniform.
That on there?
Yeah.
Looks like you bought it at the store.
And you strip it I get about 50 combs and cutters before it wears the grit off. And you can see that it's not flat.
Yeah. It's higher in the middle.
It is in this direction, but when you turn it this direction, it's conical, just a little bit, 1/2 degree. And you can buy these this is made by Lister, I think. What I feed them is I used to feed pellet feed, but the pellet manufacturer poisoned my sheep one time with too much copper. So I buy rolled corn.
Okay.
And whole corn. Soybean meal. And alfalfa pellets. And I have a sheep mineral that I beef up with a little extra selenium. So this is mineral plus selenium plus decox for coccidiosis.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't cure it, but it keeps it minimized. Put that in there. Put it in my cement mixer. Add a little molasses. And a little bit of soybean oil, and then I can also add sulfa drugs for treating the goat kids when they get coccidia. I don't have it here, but I use sulfadimethoxine or sulfamethazine. Well, we typically a week or two after weaning.
Yeah.
we'll test the fecal and get coccidia in there.
Right.
So I buy sulfadimethoxine. It's a powder. I don't have any here next door, but I calculate for how many. Let's say we have 20 goat kids, so 20 times 0.54 grams per animal per head per day, and mix that in the feed. You can use it. Most people use it for water, but I don't know if everybody's drinking the water.
Right.
So make sure they all eat the feed.
Right.
And so it ends up. This is what it looks like for the
Once I mixed
adults.
up.
Yeah. And the people. Amy, my daughter, Amy has, when she had some lambs up at her place, she went and bought some wet cob, and found that they didn't eat it. And I said, well, I don't know why they were. It's got molasses in it. But what I do with this molasses is buy it from Excel in a 5-gallon bucket, and I add water to it, about 50-50 water and molasses, and that way it spreads evenly through all the kernels. Maybe and the other valuable thing about the molasses is that it keeps the. Maybe you can see it here. Yeah, you can see the soybean meal kind of scattered in.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't use something to stickify the corn and the soybean meal, the corn, then it'll all just drop at the bottom.
The meal.
And they don't eat it as much as they do if it's stuck to each kernel. So that's what we do for feed. It's probably more expensive than buying sheep feed. Well, it was pretty bad when we had 3 ewes die on us. They started having bloody urine, and nobody knew what it was. And I happened to talk to another sheep breeder in Port Orchard, and she said, yeah, she lost 8 from it. And she said, it's copper poisoning. And I said, what? So where do we get copper? So I had the feed analyzed by Washington State, and they had put in the dairy salt with copper in it, and sheep can't handle copper. I guess goats can handle it just fine. In fact, they need more than they can.
Oh, the
Coccidia.
yeah, that you were talking about in the feed
Right.
mixer.
So you get your calculator out, and there's the dosage.
Uh-huh. So that's how you figure out how much to mix in the...
No, this is for individuals.
Oh, okay.
I use powder for doing the whole.
The feed and
yeah.
the liquid for individual
But if
dose.
one has got coccidia and you don't want to feed everybody, then if they weigh, right now these guys probably weigh what, 20 pounds?
Oh, some of them weigh a lot more.
Okay,
this
so
one weighs 20.
20 pounds.
This is puddles. This is the bottle.
4 meals for the first dose, 2 meals for every dose thereafter. It's a 5-day deal.
Where's your buddy Yoda? Huh? Where's your buddy Yoda?
This little boy, let's see, how did it work? You found him flat out. Till the time the hot water came up, we were about a body temperature 103 or so. And when his body temperature got up to about 100, he came to life. And that's him.
We've been stuck bottle feeding him ever since.
Yeah.
Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Look at it. Oh, he came to the house too.
Oh yeah. That's how you got the name Puddles.
Puddles.
Yeah.
Do you leave puddles all over the house?
Well, the kitchen. Yes, the kitchen. The kitchen mops. That's the good news. And the rugs wash, but it's like.
Did you guys enjoy the tour?
We sure did.
I learned a lot. I did not know how much went into making wool. And their wool color recipe book. That was pretty cool. Also, how easy did Al make shearing a sheep look?
He made it look effortless.
Maybe we'll be that good in 40 years. As always, follow us,
Like us,
comment
subscribe,
on our YouTube channel
and Instagram.
and Instagram. And I think
Keep it real.
I think that's it.
Wash your
Till
hands.
next, especially after sheep. Till next time.